Hey guys, what's up? It's Meredith. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I just wanted to share a quick update with you guys, and I'm just gonna cut right to the chase because you can probably tell what this video is about based on the title. So yeah, this is going to be an update on my melanoma journey. Watched my previous video on my channel explaining about my melanoma. I posted that video maybe like 4 years ago. At that point, I was in remission. I will link that video down below so you can learn more about my original melanoma diagnosis. It was stage 2B. They removed it surgically, and I felt pretty confident in my health. The doctors seemed pretty confident. They also say once you hit that 5-year mark of being in remission, then that significantly lowers your chances of recurrence. And my first diagnosis was in 2016. From 2016, skip ahead to the year 2020 when everything went to I felt a small lump in my side. I remember we were camping. It was right where like my leggings hit, and I was like, or like high-waisted pants. And I remember adjusting my leggings and feeling this very small lump. It was about the size of a pea maybe. I wasn't concerned. I didn't think anything of it. It didn't hurt. It wasn't a weird color. I assumed it was a cyst, and I just thought, oh, I'll keep an eye on it, but it's probably nothing. I kind of forgot about it after that for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden, I must have bumped into the counter because right where my lump was like right at counter height. So I must have ran into the countertop or something or rubbed up against it, and I remember it felt very tender, like I had a bruise there, and I checked it and it was bruised right where the lump was. But again, I don't know if it was me being in denial, but I thought, oh, well, I must have just bumped it on a countertop or on a doorknob or something and didn't realize it. So now it's like irritated and bruised. I waited a while, maybe like a week, and the bruising had gone down. And then skip ahead maybe a week or so later, and the bruising was back. And that's probably the point where I started getting a little bit concerned. But even then, I never in my wildest dreams thought melanoma, which is, again, maybe it's denial, but I didn't know that melanoma could look like that. I thought of melanoma as looking like a mole. Nonetheless, I made an appointment with my dermatologist to have it looked at. And I remember specifically, they removed it in his office that day and biopsied it. And I remember him explaining to the nurse, because she was writing down that it was a cyst, because that's what I said, that I thought it was maybe a cyst. I think he knew what it was and didn't want to say. But I remember him very quickly correcting the nurse. It's not a cyst, it's a lump. That kind of made me a little bit nervous, that he was very quick to correct her and very adamant, this is not a cyst, it's a lump. He told me it might be a couple weeks before I could get results from that biopsy. And I want to say it was maybe like 2 or 3 days later, if I'm remembering correctly, I received a voicemail from my dermatologist. And I know what you're thinking, like, why would he leave an important message like that on a voicemail? And I will get to that. When I received the phone call, and the reason I didn't answer, I was getting the kids ready and I was about to take them for a hike. And so when I saw that I had a voicemail, I was not expecting my doctor to be calling so soon with results. And the voicemail, I still have this voicemail saved because it changed my life, changed at that moment. So I immediately grabbed my phone and like actually listened to the voicemail, and it basically said like, "Hi, this is your doctor. I called and got your results early." He called the lab to check on it, rather than waiting for them to get the results and send it to him. So I think that he kind of had a feeling that that's what it was. He said that the melanoma was back and that he was calling my surgical oncologist that did my surgery the first time around and setting up an appointment for me with him. And so that's why he left the voicemail, come to find out, because he didn't want me to get a call from that surgical oncologist's office and for me to be like, what the, like, why do I need an appointment? So, and he was trying to get me in with them as quickly as possible. So I forgive him for leaving the voicemail. I remember listening to the voicemail and immediately just like dropping, just like in shock. I remember sitting on the couch and just like staring at my phone and saying like, no, like this cannot be happening again. And it's different this time around because, you know, the first time, I wasn't a mom yet. I don't think my kids really knew what was going on, but I'm sure that they're so intuitive, like they knew something was going on. So I called Nick and I told him, and he was shocked as well. Of course, Nick was like, do you want me to come home? Like, and I said no, because, you know, I feel like if he was home and I allowed myself to just like feel all the feelings and just bury myself in my covers and cry the rest of the day, that wouldn't have helped anything. So I said no, like I'm taking the kids on a hike. So that's what we did. I took the kids on a hike, and I remember feeling so many emotions that day. Wow, I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but I think going back to that day is really hard because I haven't thought about it in a long time. I think I stayed pretty strong for the kids that day. I'm sure they could tell something was going on, but I don't think I was like crying during our hike or anything like that. Like, I think I stayed distracted enough and just focused on them. Get a tissue. It's gonna be a long video. Okay. Whew, I'm good. Good. I had lots of feelings that day. I didn't know what it meant, the fact that it was a lump this time rather than a mole. I had a pretty good feeling that it meant that the cancer had spread, but I didn't want to Google it. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. I was scared. Cancer treatment has come a long way since my previous diagnosis from 2016. So I was under the impression like I'm about to start chemo. My kids are gonna see me really sick. And of course I had thoughts of like, you know, how much time do I have left? My kids are so young. Like, am I gonna make it? Sorry. This is really hard to say out loud. Am I gonna have enough time with them to where they will be old enough to remember me if I don't make it? Whew. Let's move on from that day. I went to my surgical oncologist. He referred me to a medical oncologist. I had a bunch of scans done. For whatever reason, insurance hates cancer patients, or at least my insurance does, and I've heard this from so many other cancer patients. But they would not approve a PET scan. They would approve a CT scan and an MRI of my brain, but they would not approve a full body PET scan. So I went for the CT scan and the MRI of my brain, and I was very, very, very fortunate that my brain scan was clear and showed no signs of cancer. But they did notice a mass in my lung and in a smaller one in my liver. They were pretty sure that the spot in my lung was melanoma, but they thought maybe the spot in my liver might be, I don't remember what they said that it might be, but it was something harmless and super common also. So I was not worried about it. And then after the CT scan, finally, then my insurance would approve a full body PET scan. So I went for my PET scan, and they had actually already referred me to a surgeon that was going to remove the mass on my lung. And I went with Nick to that appointment to discuss my surgery. So I was prepared to have surgery. And that day, the surgeon came in to talk to us, and he said, "Have you gotten your scan results yet from your PET scan?" And I said, "No." And he was like, "Well, we just received those, and I've been talking with your oncologist, and it now shows that the cancer is in your lung, your liver, and a lymph node in your chest. And at this point, it doesn't make sense to go through a surgery, but we're going to move you straight on to treatment." Now, like I said, cancer treatment has come so far from when my first diagnosis happened to this new diagnosis. I was not going to be receiving chemotherapy, but instead I was going to be doing immunotherapy treatments. Basically what that means, so chemotherapy attacks the cancer cells directly, but immunotherapy, in layman's terms and from what I can understand, is that it changes the way your immune system works so that your white blood cells are what's fighting off the cancer. So rather than it targeting the cancer, it's changing your immune system so your own immune system can then fight off the cancer. And they've seen lots of success with this form of treatment in melanoma patients. So I was hopeful that this was going to work at that point, and I was not letting any negative thoughts creep in, or I was trying my best not to. I started my treatments in December of 2020. How my treatments worked: I was on 2 different drugs that I would receive through an IV, and I was doing that every 3 weeks. After the first treatment, I felt incredible. I didn't really notice any side effects, to be honest, or at least I don't think that I did. And then I had my second treatment, and I was supposed to have 4 of these. After my second treatment, I got very, very sick. It started with some like mild nausea and just fatigue, and then it turned into extreme nausea. Couldn't keep any calories in my body. I lost weight really quickly, was extremely dehydrated. I was just very, very sick, to the point where my mother-in-law came in town to help me with the kids because I just couldn't do it. And, you know, Nick had to keep working. She had offered to help if we needed it. And I remember one day I texted Nick and I said, do you think your mom is really okay with coming to help with the kids? Because I don't think I can do it anymore. After having very few symptoms from my first treatment, I was very hopeful that I was just going to be one of those lucky patients that didn't have side effects from their treatment, and I was wrong. I was just wrong. I promised myself in those moments when I was so sick that I would never take my health for granted, or days that I feel good for granted, ever again. That's been like one of my biggest takeaways from this whole experience. After that second treatment, I went to the oncologist for another scan to check my progress of the cancer. I was also supposed to have my third treatment, and the doctor did not allow me to have treatment that day, but instead put me on a steroid because I had lost so much weight and I was so sick. They held off treatment for a while until I could get back to my normal self. I got scan results that day though, and that was the day that all the nausea and weight loss and dehydration was worth it, because that was the day that I found out that my treatment was working. So that was a good day. So I started getting treatments again finally. They decided at that point to do no more treatments of the two drugs together. So it was just one drug. It was a shorter treatment. It was more spaced out. So I was going every 4 weeks now as opposed to every 3 weeks. I have definitely had symptoms since then. Some like autoimmune type responses. It's not been easy and it's been frustrating, but I feel like the time that I was so sick, I'm so grateful for that time, because it really puts these symptoms into perspective, that this is annoying, but it's manageable. Skip ahead. I've now been on my immunotherapy treatments for like a little over 1.5 years, and I had a scan this week, and I thought I would share that experience with you and share what it's like in those moments leading up to finding out your scan results, because it can be really nerve-wracking. My experience is a mom going through this, and you'll see what it's like being a mom of 2 young kids and going through a cancer journey. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it is. I will roll that footage next. Rolling the footage. I am in the parking lot about to go in for my CT scan. I get a CT scan about once every 3 or 4 months to check the status of my melanoma. The last couple scans have shown no change, which is good. That means the treatment is still working, because if it wasn't, the cancer would be growing and spreading. It's Monday, And tomorrow I see my oncologist and get the results from the scan, and then I'll get treatment tomorrow as well. I am all finished with my appointment. That was probably the quickest I've been in and out of my scans ever. Scans went good. The girl that always does my scans every single time, when I walked in, she was like, I feel like you were just here. It seems like the time between scans or time between appointments just flies by sometimes, and sometimes I just, even though I don't get treatment that often and I don't get scans that often compared to so many other people fighting cancer. So I'm fortunate, but man, sometimes it does feel like I'm here all the time. It just, the time in between appointments just seems to fly sometimes.
I love you, Mama.
Hey,
Why are you taking pictures?
just 'cause.
Oh, my mommy is the best. The best ever was. My mommy is the best there ever was. My mommy is the best there ever was. Do I have two faces?
No. Good morning. I am getting ready, getting the kids ready. And I have an oncology appointment today, or I'm supposed to discuss the results from my scan yesterday. I don't know if I'm gonna get to have my appointment today or not. I might have to reschedule. Hi.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, what's up? Alright, hang on one second, okay? So, Capri had a pretty high fever yesterday, so I can't take them with me, and then I also have treatment today, and you are not allowed to have anyone else come back to the treatment room with you. So I have called to try to reschedule, and also Nick can't really stay home with the kids because we just got back from our trip. He really cannot take time off from work this morning. So anyways, I had to call and try to reschedule. I'm hoping I can get in this afternoon. I hate having to wait around, especially for scan. Bless you.
I did 5 bless you.
You did 5 bless yous.
I did 5 sneeze.
5 sneeze, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get to have my appointment today or not, but I can't really ask anybody to watch the kids today because Capri had a fever all day yesterday. It still has a low fever today. Stop. You don't need to mess with anything in there. Mommy and Daddy's, go play with your stuff. That's hot. Okay, so I just got a call back from my doctor's office, and the saga continues. I got rescheduled to come back in this afternoon at 1:45, and I'm hoping that Nick can get home in time to watch the kids. Fingers crossed. This is just the hard part about being a mom, going through cancer treatment, because you can't just postpone your treatment, or you feel like you can't. Like, if your kids are sick and you can't get a babysitter, what do you do? We're just gonna keep our fingers crossed that Nick can get home in time. Hey, Capri. What color bandage do you think I'm gonna get this time?
Purple and pink.
What about you? You are guessing the same as her?
Orange.
Purple and orange? Okay.
No, I hate purple. I hate orange. No,
Well, we'll
purple
see.
and pink.
I made it to my appointment. Nick made it home from work in time to watch the kids, which is great. But also I get really nervous on days that I get scan results. And he has always tried to come to these appointments with me when I'm getting scan results, but obviously, like, our kids are sick. It's more important for him to be at home with them. And I'm a big girl. It's fine. I'm expecting there to be no change from this last scan, or from my last scan to this most recent one, but who knows? That's just kind of my guess. Oh, and it just started raining, so I'm gonna get inside before I get dumped on.
How are you? Alright, scans look great.
Oh, good.
Like your hair?
Thank you. I'm shocking everyone.
Doesn't seem like your style, but you know, summertime, you gotta go for it. Alright, everything up there. Yeah, so totally stable, structurally on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Alright, incredible. Keep rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Thank you. I am finished up with treatment, and I am headed to the store and get some things we need for dinner tonight. And yeah, things went as expected. Everything is stable, which I am grateful for. No change. They're just kind of, my cancer is just kind of staying put, which is good, because I can stay on this treatment for who knows how long. I don't want to have to be on treatment forever, but it's keeping me alive. My mom, actually, she went to my dermatologist, the same dermatologist that diagnosed my melanoma both times, and he asked how I was doing, and she explained that I was doing well, and how my treatments were going, and how my scans were looking. And my the dermatologist had an intern with him, and he was explaining my story to this intern. He basically said that, you know, the treatment must be working because she's still here. And that really hit home with me, that, you know, I get discouraged when my scans show no change, but it's not doing nothing, because melanoma can spread quickly. It's aggressive. And to hear him say that if this that this treatment wasn't working, I wouldn't be here right now, is pretty eye-opening, to hear a doctor say that, because that's something that they probably wouldn't have said to my face, because they don't want to scare you, but it's the reality of it.
Groceries.
So we could have dinner. Do you like my bandages?
Yeah.
Do you like the blue or the pink better?
The blue.
The blue? Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's my story. My kids they understand as much as they can at 5 years old and 3 years old. They know that I go every month for my melanoma medicine. Cove knows what an oncologist is, so it's been a learning experience for him. He actually, for a while, was saying that that's what he wanted to be when he grew up. And he would say that he wanted to be an oncologist and give people melanoma medicine, which was very sweet. And I hope, if anything, my kids watch me go through this and they see me being brave and being strong to show them like perseverance. I don't want to come across like I'm sharing this story for attention or for sympathy or anything like that, but really just to talk about melanoma, because again, like, I had melanoma before and I didn't even know that a lump could be melanoma. So like, if I didn't know that, I know that this information, if seen by the right people, will save someone's life. Or maybe somebody's going through cancer treatment and this is helping you guys feel less alone. But with that being said, I'm just gonna keep going through the motions, getting my treatments, praying, and I know that there will be an end one day, and one day I'm going to be celebrating that I beat cancer again. I know it's gonna happen because it has to. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below, or my email address is in my bio. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to catch my next video.